everyone, my name is Andrew. This is my Ford E250 conversion van. I actually built this back in Florida, and today we're going to give you a tour on some of the ideas we came up with. So to start off, with the fridge, I originally had a 3-ray fridge that ran off of propane, electricity, and 12 volt, but it didn't work out last minute, so that's why you still see this frame. But last minute I ended up buying this Alpi Cool Cooler that runs off 12 volts that works way better. Opens up from the top here, put sliders on it, and I could run this fridge I've tested it for about 2 days. I haven't ran it any further, running off the onboard battery. But the 12 volt is back here. It's just a cigarette lighter outlet, and that runs all the way to the back to the onboard battery. It's got some bungees to keep it secured. And then up top, we decided to add another shelf for the stove and just other cooking utensils. I don't actually cook up here. I usually pull the stove off and cook outside if I'm doing that. Then got a pot here, cutting utensils, all the other utensils. So it was actually a pretty game changer for me that I didn't really realize is this rubber mat. I'm in the process of moving right now, so I took the majority of everything out, but things that are sitting on top of this, it takes a lot for it to actually bump off or slide off. So all this is pretty secure up here. And we decided to put it on the bottom of this and the bottom of the fridge. Alright, so this is how the water system works. We got 2 5-gallon jugs down here, fresh water, gray water. Then we have a kill switch up here for the faucet right here. So it's kind of loud, but gets the job done. Then up top there's also storage under here, and the way you get to it is either you could go through there or from up top. We drilled these handles into here on both sides, but as you can see I got stuff up there now, but it lifts right up and that's how you get down there. Alright, so this is how the bed works. There's a drawer under it and the bed's actually going to rest on top of this. But you slide this out, you got storage under here, you got storage over here as well. You drop these hinges down, they're on both sides. Slide that forward a little bit. And it stores under it just like that. So there is a little bit of a design flaw of getting into this storage because the bed rests on it. But if I were to design it again, I would definitely put a latch or a door in front of it so you can still access it while it's in bed mode. Alright, so the bed is made out of 5-inch foam, and it was a website called Custom Foam, and you could get the size that you want cut. And so this is actually 4 pieces that go all the way to the back. And then we had a family friend that sewed up these awesome fabrics for it. And then up top here, I chose the Max Air fan. A lot of people like to get the Fantastic fan, but it only has 1 support arm on it. So I decided to get the Max Air fan because it has 2 support arms. And it just seems to last longer because through times, if it's improperly used, the arm usually breaks off of the Fantastic fan. Alright, for the ceiling, we use cedar tongue and groove. And as far as insulation, from being from Florida and all the research I did, like going through the rabbit hole of that, is we basically just insulated the roof. You can actually see some of the insulation here. That's mainly the only thing we insulated, and it's been holding up pretty well. As far as the ground and the side, it's pretty minimum. And then going to the cabinets, this is where I usually store all my food, as you can see. And then we got storage down here as well. So we also have storage back here, and I decided to put this carpet in here just to make it a little bit better. But yeah, I usually keep my clothes, sleeping bags, any other essentials under here. As far as the electrical, I have a 100 amp hour battery. This charges all the 12 volt systems in the van. That's including the fridge, the lights, the water pumps. Here's the fuse box, and then trickle charge right here. The trickle charge, when I'm on the farm, I plug it into shore power, and this charges the onboard battery. And then if I'm driving long distance, here's a relay that goes all the way to the front engine. I just pop that in, and the alternator is charging the onboard battery. We decided to have these little switches, so if I'm laying here and someone else is in here doing stuff over there, I could shut the lights off right in front of me instead of just sitting up and hitting the switches right there. Cool, so I bought this countertop from a construction guy back in Florida off of OfferUp, and I actually bought it before I even designed the van. So it was actually too small, so I got 2 slabs from, and he cut, one of my friends cut it in half, and then we ended up gluing it together, and that's how it was able to fit in here. And then we used the edges to make this little shelf up top. Then my dad drilled these handles in that I was talking about earlier. And this out comes out. A little heavy, but you can still get storage down here. I got some jackets in there right now. And then that's where all the water system is. As far as the wood for the whole van, I did use a little better plywood for the exterior. But inside the doors, we just used the cheap wood right here to save on cost. But other than that, yeah, we used plywood, stained it, put some edges on it to clean it up on each end. So for the windows, we use a material called Reflectix. A lot of the van life people use it. I didn't put any fabric on this, but if you come over here to the side door right here, I sewed fabric over it just to make it look a little better and attach magnets to the end of it. If it holds up, you can put it halfway, but I noticed the way I designed it that it stays better with having the rubber bands on it when I'm driving, or if I slam the door, it doesn't pop off. That helps a little bit with the insulation, but I wouldn't say much just because this van has so many windows on it. As far as heat, when I have shore power, I just use a standard space heater. I actually got this from like Goodwill for like $7. But yeah, that usually keeps me warm, and then I also have an electric blanket that I put on the bed, and that will do it for the winter. When I'm up in the mountains, I bought a Mr. Heater, but everyone knows with that, it kind of creates a lot of moisture in the van, so I kind of swayed away from using that. So in general, I just use an insulated sleeping bag or just a space heater. Alright, so the passenger seat, I actually installed a swivel seat onto it. The way it works is you lean this forward. There's a little handle underneath. It's a little tight, but it actually works. See, it hits the door right there, but you can get past it. Leans back here. And then so sometimes if I'm in the van by myself, I'll sit here and then I'll pull the fridge out, use the fridge as a desk, laptop, eat food on top of it. So yeah, that's how it works. So for the exterior, we decided to coat most of it in bed liner. It's a brand called Raptor Liner. We also sprayed the bumper, this, and it kind of puts a little texture onto it. Then over here on the side, we have a Pioneer kit. This actually came off of a Humvee, and we rigged it up with these latches on it. So the way you take it off, it's these hinges down here. You have a lock right here. You just take that off if you want to take the whole Pioneer kit off. So it comes off right here. And you just secure it back down like this. So if you get stuck or anything, or need to split wood while you're camping, you have all the tools you got there. On the back, if I go on long trips, this is a 5-gallon gas tank and then fresh water here. So if I go on a long trip like going to the Alvord Desert, I'll fill this up just to have it, just in case. And then over here you can still see where we sprayed everything with bed liner. We even sprayed the license plate cover, bumper, ladder, goes up top. And then for the roof rack, this is actually like a standard like working roof rack. It has 1,000 weight capacity on it. And I screwed expanded metal onto it and then sprayed it with bed liner as well. So as far as the toolie up top, that's been great for extra storage. I brought my fishing poles from Florida and you can't take them apart, so I store the fishing poles up there. Anything that's like outdoor related, it's kind of like treat it like my attic, so I have chains up there as well. For the front, we actually updated the lights with these LED lights off eBay. I think they only cost like $60, but they work really well. And then also we upgraded the tires. I just kept the OEM wheels on it just to save on money. But other than that, that's majority of the exterior. And here's the LED lights. These work way better than the ones that come on it, so you can actually see at night. So this van actually took me 3 years to build. I was going to school and working full time, so there was times where I would only work on it twice a month with my dad. But if anyone else is building a van, you could legitimately build this in a month or so if you have the time and the knowledge of how to do it. But in total, this van cost me around $8,300, and I consider this a budget van. Like, majority of the things I bought here were off of OfferUp, like this fridge right here. So I tried to find everything on a budget, and then just family friends helping with doing the fabric or giving me the wood floor. So yeah, the total cost came out to about $8,300. I would say the hardest part about doing van life is probably the electrical, because everyone else, they have a dad or someone that can help them do the woodwork or everything else. But the electrical was hard for us because we had to just research the right wire to use, or which lighting to use, or just anything that involves electrical is kind of definitely difficult. So if I was going to do this again, there's definitely some design flaws in terms of when it's in bed mode, I can't get to my water here unless I go under the sink, but that involves taking everything off the top of the sink. So I would make a design where I could actually get to the water easier. And then it's the same, it's mainly just the cabinets is what I was changed. So I can't get to the double door cabinets here because it's in couch mode now. I can still access up top, but I can't access the bottom. So most of the time I do just keep it in bed mode, and then if I absolutely have to change my water, I'll push it back up. But those are the changes I would do. Alright, so some advice I would give for someone that's building a van in the future. Obviously one of the biggest things is to check the mechanical part of it, or just the engine. When I bought this van, it was a Stanley steamer, so I knew it had maintenance on it, and everything we checked on it checked out. And then as far as when you're building the van, I was getting discouraged because people would buy a roof rack and that would cost over $1,000. And then like I knew where my budget was, and I still wanted to make the van that I was picturing in my head, so I would just go to OfferUp or Facebook Marketplace to find anything. So I would definitely say save your money when it comes to buying some of the van life products, whether it's the roof rack or a ladder or just anything. Like you could get a Dometic fridge and it's going to cost you $1,000, or you could get an Alpi-Cool, which is going to do the same thing for you. And luckily I got this for $200. My name's Andrew. Thanks for checking out the van today. Have a good one.